Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the very first live with Red Diva session for the year of 2023. Hi, I'm Red Diva. Um, I know I said that I'll be doing monthly live streams, but then there's a change for this year. And for those who don't know me, I'm a entertainment and lifestyle blogger based in Singapore. I've been doing this about 13 years, I think. I can't keep track anymore. But it's been a fun ride. I made a lot of friends along the way. And during the COVID time, I started these monthly live streams to focus on Southeast Asian creatives because I found that there was a lack of spotlight shone on the talent that we have around our region. When we talk about Asia, the world is used to seeing Asia equals Hong Kong equals Japan equals Korea, and like the rest of the Southeast Asian forgotten as part of Asia itself, and that annoyed me so much. Therefore, I had this live with Red Diva live streams and invited artists, people who are working in the acting world, even cosplayers and creative folks like this to talk about their passions and or their jobs and to share about or even like comic book artists to talk about how they have entered the world of comic books, talk about their favorite movies and stuff like that. So for the last 2.5 years or so, it has been a monthly live stream. And I found that when there was this reopening after COVID, people are understandably trying to get back to their lives, and they are busier as well outside of just being online and virtually. I myself included, I was busy doing a job hunt and had personal matters to attend to. A few of my guests declined, like, oh, can we postpone getting on live with Red Diva as well? And I didn't want to rush finding for another guest who may not be as prepared. So it will be an intermittent live stream from now onwards, and I will still continue to broadcast on a semi-regular basis. It could be monthly, it could be twice a month, or no, once in 2 months, or whenever there are interesting guests, and I'll make it sure that people enjoy themselves as guests and as viewers, and that I will also enjoy the process of broadcasting this live stream to everyone, so that you can enjoy getting to know each other, even though we are in our own respective living rooms, or your study room, but make it feel that we are all together virtually sitting on a sofa, getting to know our guests, and maybe some of these are your friends as well. So today is a very exciting one. I love it that this is my first live stream for 2023 with this wonderful, talented people who are getting to know, becoming friends as well. And these are the people behind the live action film that is shot in Singapore, produced in Singapore, and acted by local actors. It's called Bullet for Vengeance from Raging Fire production. And you may be very familiar with my first guest that I'll be introducing, and I will just put him on screen right now, very, very soon. The title of today's live stream is Getting Real, Bullet for Vengeance. It's an award-winning short film, and you rarely see action genre films in Singapore as well. So this is a very interesting short film. You can find it on YouTube in Raging Fires Productions channel, and I encourage you to go watch it and come up with your own opinions about it, share it, like it, and hopefully that will no more productions like this will be out for everyone to enjoy. And you know that we have talent in Singapore to produce films like this as well. And I think it's a very encouraging sign, I think, for the younger people to get on board to do such things, because we Gen X are, like sandwich generation, very busy. So we need the younger people to go shine for us. Okay, so ready for the first guest on my live stream today is Jonathan Cheong, and he's the one behind Raging Fire Productions, and the one that kickstarted this movie as well. So he's in the movie as an actor, and he's one of the I think upcoming, I should think, soon to be filmmaker of auction genres. Hello, Jonathan. How are you?
Hi, Tina. Hi, everyone who is watching this live stream. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, and some people may not know you, although you did appear on my live streams one over a
2 years
year
ago.
ago. Yeah, 2 years ago,
Yeah.
right? And time
Mm.
flies, and I'm getting older. um, so this is like great to have you back, and hopefully people are more familiar with you now 2 years later, and they may have a lot of questions for you. So,
Right.
but in case people are not familiar with your work, please introduce yourself. Give a short introduction.
So, hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan. I'm an actor and action filmmaker. I've been making action films and acting for close to about 7 years already. At least been 7 years already. So, I've produced over 9 short action films to date. And yeah, the most recent one being Bullet for Vengeance. So hopefully you guys can go to Raging Fire Productions on my YouTube channel to support and yeah, just show some love for local action films and local films
Yeah,
itself.
that's why
Yeah,
we should be proud of our local endeavors. I mean, even
yeah,
though if you think that it's not up to the Hollywood standard because we are so used to seeing Hollywood
mm,
movies, but there should be a starting point. I feel that
mm,
if there's no starting point, then nothing ever happens.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm glad that you actually are brave enough to do this and start some short films to get our name across, all over the world. That there is such things from Singapore happening. And the
mm.
next guest is Kris Mavericko. Hello, Kris. He's also in the movie.
Hi guys, we in here today. Okay, I mean, yeah. I hope all of you are in good spirits right now because it's gonna be a fun chat.
Yep.
Please introduce yourself for a short introduction for people. Like, what have you done? What are you famous
Oh,
for?
I'm still trying to figure out. I'm just trying different. I'm an actor. I'm a presenter for certain types of videos. I'm also a voice actor and a dubbing artist. So that's what I do. I work across a variety of video platforms in advertising and also in more artistic pursuits like cinema and, for example, Bullet for Vengeance. Yeah.
All right. And the very last, some estrogen to add to this live stream. I'm very lonely. It's the wonderful Agnes Goh. Hello, Agnes.
Hi guys, yes, like it shouldn't represent it.
Yeah, please give an introduction of yourself to the viewers out there. There are quite a few actually.
Great.
Oh,
So hi, I'm an independent actress and writer. So I actually started off with commercial work, and eventually I went to films because I really enjoy telling stories that could inspire and resonate with people. So I actually enjoy doing different genres, and action being one of them, which is why
Yeah.
I'm here. I became a part of this project. And
Mm,
to me, I would think that John and Chris will also agree with me. I think it's always a work in progress, and we are
yeah.
just continuing on this journey and see how far we can go.
Yeah. Okay, before we start on the very nosy questions, Papa, um, happy belated birthday, Jonathan.
Ooh, thank you.
Did you do anything special?
I was John Wick 4 lor.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
saw you.
yeah, yeah.
I saw you at the premiere.
Yeah.
There are a few people watching the live stream. I'm gonna say hello to them. There's Jet, my geek bro. Hello, Jet.
hey
Hello.
Jet. I remember Jet. I remember. I think I saw
Yeah,
you when one
during
of
some
those
of the
movie
previews.
sessions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's Chingy. Hi, Yao Ming. Hello,
Hi guys.
Billy
Thank you
Silver
for
as
tuning in.
well. Glad
Hey
that you're
Billy.
joining us. Yeah, please ask questions. We might pop them up from time to time. You can just
Yeah.
type them
Ask
up.
ask John. Ask John. Ask John.
What?
You
Hey,
guys, ask you guys.
Chani wish Jonathan was happy birthday one, like never wish me.
All right, Jonathan, you're the first one to be answering my first
Mm.
question. How did the idea for Bullet for Vengeance come about? And what kind of challenges did you have bringing the script to life?
Also, it's two questions, lah. It's not one question, right?
Yes, two questions. Part one first.
Okay, so how did the idea came about? I mean, like for those of you who know me, will know that I'm a huge fan of Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen, can I point him? Yeah. So I've always wanted to make a film that is kind of like in accumulation of all the movies that I've watched of him, like because I'm so inspired by all his stuff, right? Like Flashpoint, SPL, that kind of movies. And at the same time, actually, I've never been an action director before in my life. In all the past films that those of you who have known or seen, I'm only the choreographer. So action director is, for those of you who do not know, is basically like you control like the camera and everything during the action scene as well. So so everything came together. Like I wanted to do something that is in tribute to him, and then I wanted to try action directing itself. So I decided to approach Raphael, which is one of my fellow collaborator I worked with in.
Mm-hmm.
He was also one of the crew members for Legend of
Mm.
Hope, the Star Wars fan film. And then we are like, no, long story short, we say, we should make a film together, blah blah blah. Then after which he say, okay, I have a concept. I coined a concept. After which then he wrote the script, and then that was in 2021. So that's pretty much about it. Then what was the second question again? What was the challenges, right? Yeah, so the
Yeah, like
challenges.
because you have an idea, you have a script
Yes.
written, but how to
Mm.
put that to life, on in a live action,
Okay,
have the
so for like
director do that.
any other films that I've done, the challenges are like pretty typical. Like it's not the first time I'm handling those challenges. Like things like okay, we have to get the script, then after which we have to reassemble a crew and stuff like that. I think the only challenge is because we are working with a very like tight budget. I'm sorry, a very tight
Mm.
budget. So it's always that typical challenge of like with this little budget that we have, because it's not funded, this project. I mean, we do have some like sponsors and stuff like that, but it's not like fully funded like a typical movie or TV series. So we had to find ways to like how within that budget we can utilize whatever we can, like adding on the location, the training place and stuff like that. So the challenges is really working with what we have with the amount that we have. So I think yeah, that's to answer your question.
Yeah, that is a very interesting balance, though. The money is one of the things as well, and
Mm.
logistics, and I think it's a lot of teamwork, lah, huh? So many
Yeah,
people involved behind the scenes.
correct.
Was there anything that you had to tweak, like a very strong tweak or change from the script to filming?
Tweak actually to be honest, right, like for those, I mean I can't speak for everyone, but for those who make films, right, like they will know that like every film, especially indie film we do, right, there will always be tweaks until the last minute one.
Mm.
Like there isn't one that like it's rare that I had one I had one where I said I want to have this, and then it's literal as it is. Like for example, right, like the final fight scene of the the final fight scene of the Bullet for Vengeance itself, it's supposed to be I think in an industrial car park, but then like
Ah,
due to like some logistical stuff, and so we had to find alternatives, and then luckily we found a better place. We found like a car workshop. So tweaks and changes, it's always there one. So there isn't one
mm.
that there will not be changes. So yeah.
So this was you at the John Wick premiere.
Yeah, when I met you there. Yeah.
I think Jet said she saw you too.
Oh. Hey, actually, right, the premiere was the first time I see you in person, you know that.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the first time we met. Although we
First time
we
in,
speak a
even though
lot
we
on
met
WhatsApp.
before. Yeah.
All right, this is like you in one of
Cool.
the screenshots. Yeah.
Nice.
Trivia for you guys, by the way, that picture was basically a post by Donnie Yen in Flashpoint, for those of you who watch. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but the feeling lah. Yeah, I try. Yeah.
So then the question for Kris and Agnes: how do you get pulled into the project? How do you learn of it? And did Jonathan come knocking at your door?
No. He brought in a truck of armed people, right? And then he kidnapped me, and then he forced me to be part of them. No, we actually no. Okay, so the first time I met Agnes and no, Agnes, I met her during Afterlife. You watched Afterlife, right? So that was in February 2020. I think around December the same year, I met John and Agnes during a Deliveroo commercial that we were doing. So before
On
that,
this
I had
one. Ta-da!
yes, yeah. Hi, I'm Mirage. So
This was a scene
okay,
from Afterlife, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
so okay, I mean that was probably a bad impersonation, but the memories will stick forever. The memories will stick forever. So anyway, when we met during the Deliveroo commercial production, John was already expressing a lot of enthusiasm about his ideas for the next action film. At that point, it wasn't fully formed yet, but the passion that he had, the energy that he had was just so evident. And it's not like when anyone just does a passion project we can just jump in, like there are some people who have shown their dedication, they have shown how committed they are. So that when you work with these people, a lot of people are gonna gain something valuable out of it, and I was also looking for something interesting to do. So I think in 2021 he finally we met at the Paya Lebar food court, I think. And he told me like, okay, this is deputy superintendent of police. He's my character superior. I mean, his character superior, and there's a scene. So I just said okay.
And is this the first time you're playing a police person?
No. In fact, okay. In fact, I don't know for what reason. People find it very easy to just cast me as a police officer. Either a detective or an investigation officer, senior investigation officer, DSP. All these various titles that come with somebody in law and order. Somebody who is in charge of maybe. Okay, I look at it this way, right? At first I was wondering, man, why do I keep getting police officer roles? But then I said, let me take this as a challenge. How can I make each police officer as an actor different? so
Yes.
so try and find the distinction and make them a human being, not just a role, putting on a uniform or a blazer, whatever.
Mm.
So it's not the first time at all, but I'm trying to look for something extra in every police officer role that I'm given.
After all, policemen are people, right? They are people in their own
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what about you, Agnes?
I think in short, it's really fate that brought us all three together in this project. So like Chris mentioned, right? So prior to the commercial shoot that kind of united the three of us, I already met John on a short film shoot prior to that. Then after that, we met again on a commercial shoot, and then we kind of like hit off, we developed a friendship, and then we kept in touch, and along the way we found out that we were people who were so passionate about this craft. We would talk about things that we love to do, we love to try, and I guess that kind of planted the seeds in wanting to work together.
Yeah.
And John's project came along, and there was a female role inside, and he thought of me. But I think what was interesting is at first we were thinking that I might play the role of his love interest, which is another fellow police
Oh,
officer.
yeah,
But
yeah,
eventually,
yeah.
I was allocated the role of
Yeah.
the bad
Oh,
guys.
okay.
To be
Interesting.
very
Yeah.
interesting, yeah, because there were a bit of action that I could play with, and Jonathan was the one who taught me that. And I've been wanting to explore doing action stuff, and I thought that experience, that scene, even though it was very short, it provided a very good foundation, and it was an introduction to me to this new genre that I haven't had the chance to play in. So it turned out to be a very refreshing experience, and being able to work with your friends on set, passionate about the same thing, just makes the whole experience very different. Very,
Yeah.
yeah.
You were talking about being friends with Chris, and I found this photo. Ta-da! So cute, lah. You are, and then Perry at the background.
Yeah, that was a really like great film set. Like it's a good story, and we had fun. We had like wonderful table rehearsal. So yeah, so shout
Yeah.
out.
I tell you guys, Perry is a legend, pure legend.
Yeah, he is another great filmmaker. Sci-fi wise, he's fantastic. He has an interesting vision. Jonathan, how long did the production take?
From the moment I think it's about 9 months.
Oh,
In
that
total,
long.
it's quite a long
Mm,
span. Because I mean,
yeah.
like once again, I mentioned because it's just started with just two people, and we need to collect resources, find resources and stuff like that. It's not just like I have a production like office right now. I have all the equipment. I can just shoot something right
Mm,
now. I
mm,
have to
mm.
go and gather my
Yeah.
project team and stuff. So it's about I think it's about 8 9 months, close to that. Yeah.
Mm, interesting.
Mm.
Takes a lot of how you call it, focus as well to keep it going. If not,
Mm.
it's easy for people to
Yeah.
drop the ball. It's like, oh, this is taking too long. I'm very lazy already.
Correct.
That kind of thing.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct. Yeah.
it's a lot
It's
of
a marathon.
focus.
It's a marathon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's action film, so of course there are action sequences and there are fight scenes,
Mm.
using of weapons.
Mm.
What is the most difficult and challenging part of filming the little movie for each of you? You can answer. Maybe Jonathan, and then we'll go like accordingly. Jonathan, Kris, and then Agnes.
I think my challenge, right, it's like okay for me. It's nothing new, kind of a challenge because I've been doing it for. I'm not gonna say for a long time. 7 years to some people is very short, but I'll say that yeah. I mean, in the eyes of the industry, it's very short lah. It's not even a 10 years mark.
Yeah,
But the challenge to me is like let's just say on the set because just now whatever I answered you was the pre-production, right?
yeah, correct.
So I
We're
think
talking about you
the yeah
acting on the yeah.
the acting part or like the overall because my challenge comes from
The
producing.
I would like to know the acting part.
The acting part.
Yeah.
Okay, the acting part, right? I have to say a bit of my producing because, like, unlike these two talented actors right here, they can just focus on acting, right? For me, it's because I am also the producer and action director. So at times, I couldn't just like focus into the acting fully. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I have to think about like, is everyone well? Is their welfare okay? I have to ensure the time. We don't overshoot like there's like my mind has to be split into two. Then not to
Yeah,
mention like during the fight itself when I was
yeah,
fighting with the villain in the film, like
yeah.
I'm the action director. So like for example, once a take is done, he can like the actor can go and rest and collect his emotions, right? But I have to think of the next shot. What's the
Mm,
next better shot? So
mm,
so a lot of technical things kind of like hinder me. It's not a bad thing, but it's just like I can't focus fully on the acting itself. But I have to big up to the director, like in terms of the acting, like there are times where I need more kind of like emotions, especially like the romantic scene. For those of
mm,
you who know,
mm.
like he will keep telling me, "Hey, you need to smile more. You're too like, yeah, so stuff like that." So, I guess the challenge is really having to juggle like different roles at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's for me.
I always wondered, in Hollywood, some of these actually they are actor directors as well. It's amazing. I don't know how they can do it.
Hollywood actually don't have though. It's only in Asian cinema. Hollywood is kind of more producer, and
Got
uh,
some is actor and
yeah,
directing
very
themselves
very
as well.
little.
Like
Yeah,
Kenneth
yeah.
Branagh likes to do that.
Yeah, and the most recent Michael B. Jordan's Creed,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not
director
easy.
actor,
They
yeah,
must
yeah,
be so used to knowing how they look on screen.
Mm.
Like, they have worked so long that they kind of know how they.
either that or
Yeah,
they know or they trust the AD, yeah,
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 probably.
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Interesting. Yeah, I understand. Being split your brain and attention into many, many parts. What about you, Kris?
What was challenging?
Yeah, because your scene is actually quite short.
Yeah,
So
Chris.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
so
even
sad.
though it was short, did you, what are the like interesting parts or challenging parts that you face? Even though it's short, I don't think that short scene means no challenges, right?
That's right,
Yeah,
Chris.
so the look at it. Look at what John is doing. Hey, do that
Yeah.
again.
Or maybe not challenging for you, like Chris.
Okay, so on paper, honestly, on paper, it wasn't challenging at all. But a couple of days ago, when I was talking to Agnes on the phone, it's one of those things that I told her I like to take something that kind of looks simplistic and see what depth I can find in that. Not just taking it as a role or a character. I'm trying to create a human being. So when you talk about DSP Amrish, so who's this guy? Why is he this way? It could be one scene, but in the non-verbal moments,
Yeah.
I have to reveal something extra about him that's not on the script. So I like to find these things, and
Yeah.
I enjoy the adventure of trying to do that for every indie film that I'm given. Yeah, I mean, people don't usually ask for it. Like nobody tells me, we want you to find more, more, more. But it's just a growth process. I like to take that challenge and find something extra. That was one challenge. It wasn't that difficult. The more challenging one was the climate, the environment. Because when John and I
It looks
rehearsed
very
this,
warm and humid.
yeah, when we were rehearsing the scenes, it was always in a very pleasant, comfortable, air-conditioned environment, indoor. Everyone's so chill and relaxed. But boom, what do you know? On the first day, I show up, right, and then the sun
Oh
is
man.
staring right at my face, and it's literally telling me, "I'm not gonna make it easy for you today, kid."
Yeah, right.
So it did affect my voice a little bit. Plus the smoking and the smoking and the climate. I felt a little dehydrated. Yeah,
and
that's the dehydration phase.
and you had to wear a suit. For those who are not in Singapore,
Yeah.
imagine the
Oh,
weather here is brutal for outdoor shooting. It's
Yeah, it
hot
actually
and
looks like
humid.
it's not that. It actually doesn't look very hot. Like if you guys see the picture, with
Doesn't
like
look
all
like
the
a
post.
feel.
Yeah, with all the post production, it looks quite pleasant and everything, right? No, I tell you, it was hot as hell.
Man. And Jet said, so you went method.
I am meth. No, just kidding.
wow.
No, you no you I no method is this. It's different methods for different projects, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so kind. Sunshine on the superstar. What?
In short, but already such iconic lines. I
You
like
don't
it
know.
that you're looking so frustrated, like very sian already. Alamak, again.
it's like it's like I think John, Chen Yi, myself, and like we keep impersonating the few lines, and even we take real life situation. Like we got some production gossips with like
Mm.
other projects and everything. So when all of us get together and we're like just like having fun, John and we just like to keep remixing the lines that were in our scene, and it's like, oh, why did this happen? Huh? And somebody shouldn't have died, or like I shouldn't have been late. And it's like, so, huh? Why? You know why? And like, man, it's just so fun.
Right. Agnes, what about you?
For me, I think what's most challenging is always the interesting part, right? So I think the subtlety and being able to convey the completeness of a character in a very short scene is probably a challenge. Which is why that's where like communication between the director, my co-actor Gary and myself is very important. What is this woman? Who is her to you? What kind of character she plays, and then we agreed that she's actually a very tough woman inside. She lost her husband, so in the face of danger, where the police officer is there, she will do whatever it takes to stop him, instead of crying and being another damsel in distress. So with those kind of pillars, fundamental pillars being established, then it's for us to really portray that love I have for my husband, and also that fearlessness when I'm fighting with the police officer, up to the moment I die. So encapsulate all
Oh,
this
spoiler.
like 1 minute each thing, right? Oh no, but it's already been released, so I trust that that's quite a lot. But the idea is that be able to consolidate everything within like a 1 minute plus scene.
Yeah.
It's probably a challenge, but I think that's where it's fun, right? People kind of know you within that minute, but yet they know so much about you. And if people can hopefully derive that much about me, it means that I've done my part in telling that story
Yeah.
for that character. Yeah.
Were the stunts challenging to you? I mean, is that the first time you're doing like hardcore?
Oh, it's the first time I'm doing.
Oh,
But
wow,
to be honest, it's not that hardcore. And Jonathan has been very patient to guide me through the. Yeah, so I feel like I feel that for my first time, this is a very good warm-up practice because it's not too difficult, but it's challenging enough to let me get a feel of that little bit of action, and then it kind of gives me the confidence that okay, next time I'm ready for more. So okay, now
yeah.
more action, I'm ready for it. Yeah. So I feel it's a very good.
This your screen hubby.
Yeah, so it's like, moments like these, the eye, can you tell the love from your eyes?
Yeah.
With that little lines, people can tell that, oh, this
Well,
is
I really appreciated those scenes. It really captured the baseline of how this feud, continued after that. Very good acting for the both of you. I really enjoyed those short little scenes that you have. They were short but impactful.
oh, that's nice. I feel like this is definitely no credit to the director, Raphael.
Yeah.
He brought an artistic eye to this scene, and
Yeah.
how much we give to this scene will then make the eventual fight scene and the hatred between the two main leads.
Right, yeah. Without emotion, it would be just a fight, and it has no meaning.
I'm the source of the fight. Just kidding. Yeah. So I was like jokingly saying, I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. But whatever you there, then
We have some of our mutual friends. Basil is here. Hello.
Oh my God! Another legend just joined. Oh man.
And for those who are not aware, Bullet for Vengeance has entered some of these international film fairs, and they've actually won quite a number of awards. Quite impressive. Best Cinematography by Benny Tan, the director at the World Film Carnival Singapore. Best Supporting Actor for Kris, and Best Supporting Actress for Agnes at the Golden Reel International Film Festival, Massachusetts. Sorry, my tongue is being twisted. Massachusetts, USA. Not Chattanooga, Tennessee, MBS. So congrats for all the awards that you have been getting from all the film fests. I hope there are more. Are you at some more film fests having Bullet for Vengeance as part of the film selection, Jonathan?
I think I don't know. Might have one more in Canada, but I'm still waiting for that one. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Many congratulations to the team for picking up so many accolades. Woo! So for Kris and Agnes, where were you when you got news about your respective awards?
oh my god, I have to share this. I totally didn't know. I remember I was like finishing work. I was like quite late. I think on a train back home. And Kris happened to be talking to me, and he was saying like, oh, are you going to share the news? Are you going to post about it? I was like, about what? And then she's like, no, we won something, right? I was like, oh, really? That's how I discovered. So it's all because of Kris. I know about the news. So yeah, I'm very grateful for him for always being like the messenger in my life.
He's a social media, king of social media.
Oh
Kris
my
Mavericko.
God.
He's giving. I think he still called me and give me a lesson like, can you like share about this? Like it's good to sound like, oh yeah, that's true.
Share,
Like
quick share.
like it's like I should share about it. So yeah, all for you, Kris.
Yeah, because I don't know whether maybe it's a Singaporean thing or what, but there's a lot of us who suffer from excessive humility or humbleness.
That's true,
And
actually. I think it's an Asian thing.
yeah, then when you're a creative, you're an artist, you're a freelancer, you're already dying, you are already drowning. And when we don't stand up for ourselves, when we don't speak up for what we've done, not in a not like, wow, look at me, I'm so great kind of way, but like, I'm just grateful that I was, out of the 100 things that I did, one or two actually, brought about like some good reward, right? So I think when we share that, it not just makes us feel a little bit good, it does something positive for our self-worth, but also makes us a little noticeable, because in this
Yeah,
digital era that we are in, we are just we'll just become
absolutely. Yeah.
invisible. We are not no, we are not
Yeah,
even going to be included in the statistics, if we don't
absolutely.
share.
I'm just sharing like in the working world. Okay, I'm not in the creative field. My creative field is doing Red Dot Diva as a outlet, um,
Yeah.
to escape from normal usual work life, the 9 to 5. But I've been doing the 9 to 5 for so long, and I find the difference that Westerners, because maybe of their upbringing, they are willing to talk about themselves more, even though they may
Mm.
be like not as competent, or not as talented. So I say in quote marks, they will talk about themselves. They are all willing to promote themselves and project themselves in a way that with such confidence, and people are attracted to such confidence. But for us Asians, right, we are always like, no lah,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Not wrong, but I think sometimes I agree with Kris as well. We do have to show people that we believe in ourselves as well, right? If
No,
you
it
don't
took
believe in
it
yourself,
it took
then
me so many years to learn
yeah,
that, right? The importance of actually talking about what you're doing. So I didn't want Agnes to actually suffer for that long. Because she's been acting for a while now and she's talented. She has this emotional depth that she can bring to a lot of characters, and I think she's a lot more competent than a lot of actresses. So I just felt that it was
oh,
justifiable, for her to share. As for where I was when I found out, I think I was at home because John's message came at about 2:30 a.m.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah, so he said, "Congrats to both of you. You got best supporting actor, and Agnes got best supporting actress." And then, so I was just at home. I wasn't expecting, actually. I wasn't even expecting to be nominated in an acting category, to be honest.
Jonathan, were you expecting all these awards? I know, I mean, your previous films had awards as well, but Bullet for Vengeance seems to be like, there was this level up from the previous one.
No
We seem
lah.
to have
Actually,
a lot. I don't know.
no. Whenever I make a film, like we know we don't make a film for the sake of awards. Though those some
Of
part of
course,
us also
yeah,
like say it would be good to have, right? But it's not with the intention in mind. So obviously, when you don't have this kind of expectation and an intention, like the fact that when there's so much of this, then it becomes a lot more like special lah. Because like, oh, you didn't expect this to come, and then I think more importantly is like, if I may say, is that um because some people they might feel that, okay, so John, this is your film, this is a Jonathan Cheong film, whatever, right? Like you're probably gonna get all the, like, because you're the main actor, you're the main whatever, you're gonna get all these like accolades, right?
mm,
But the
mm,
thing is, right, what I'm very happy about is the fact that for this film itself, right, because like you mentioned that everyone from different departments is so passionate. Like
yeah,
we have, for example, Kris and Agnes both winning
yeah,
supporting
yeah,
actors, actresses. Then there's best cinematography, there's best coloring. So we
correct,
have different departments in the film that actually won awards.
yeah,
Like it's something that, and even for when we won the best action choreography, right? Like I was like, for those of you who do not know, like the best action choreography, right? Like I'm the action director of the film, but I don't just take credit for the choreography itself, because my stunt team was there, my mentor, he was there, my guy was there doing the stunt coordination and stuff like that as well. So so people that are involved outside of just me also got what they got
mm,
recognized for. So I think
yeah,
that's the part where it really made
yeah,
me feel very good about that. So
yeah.
yeah.
Actually, film is a very, very big teamwork kind of endeavor.
Mm,
But of course, the celebrities always get the limelight. But
yeah.
people should not forget that there are so many people working behind the scenes. I mean, the audio itself, the editing itself, actually, editing is
Yeah,
is
correct.
the one that kind of make it work as well,
Mm,
and make other people look good.
yep.
Yeah, it really
So
takes a village to make
yeah, a village, entire village. And before I go to the next section where it's more like some more nosy questions and maybe pop up some of the questions that the audience may have, please just post them and I will select some of the questions for the guests to answer.
Oh, we
Meanwhile,
have an audience.
we have an audience.
Yeah, we have a question from the
we
floor,
have,
like a very deep.
yeah, yes, I will be putting them on screen and then you guys can answer their questions as well. But before that, I'm gonna
Damn, people
play
care
the
about us.
trailer. I'm gonna play the trailer for Bullet for
Ooh.
Vengeance, in case some of you have no idea what the movie is all about and you're new to this. If not, you can still enjoy the trailer again.
This is
So
the
Here it goes.
Ian, you like your job now?
Yeah, of course.
Then you should be okay with what I'm about to tell you. You're being transferred.
Where?
Administrative duties.
Why?
You know why.
So that she died. She's an accomplice that tried to kill me as well.
3 years. He'll be out in 3 years doing the same exact shit he's been doing the past 10 years.
We wiped out his entire organization. He's not gonna come back.
You don't know that.
3年前所发生的事情，我们已经改变不了了。他的死不是谁的错，那是场意外。
如果不是外人的错，那么为什么要承受所有的后果？我今天就让你知道失去爱人的滋味是什么。放心，我还不会一枪把你打，因为这把枪只有懦夫才配得上。
Woohoo! Great trailer, by the way.
Looks
Hey,
good.
I got something funny to say about the trailer. I was just telling this to John, and I wanted to share this with the audience as well. For some reason, maybe because it's been so long since we were involved in the production of this film, right? I forgot the fact that Raphael, our director, is also the editor of the film. So I thought he directed the film, but somebody else edited the film. So when I watched the trailer, I kept watching it so many times because I felt that the sound was good and it was just so well put together. It was a great problem. So I told him, hey, congrats on this, and then send my regards to your editor as well. And I think it was fantastic. It was so well done. Then Rafael replied me, haha, act blur, huh? Like, I was like, what do you mean I'm acting blur, right? Then I realized he's actually trying to say that he is the editor. Then I said, oh, okay. Then yeah, congrats to you on both fronts, like directing and the editing.
Well, you sometimes we have brain farts.
Yeah,
but
the editing was great. I really thought the editing was nice.
Yeah, it was superb. Good job. Now, my first question, I'll kickstart, and if anybody has questions, please post them. I'll put them on screen. Why do each of you want to be an actor?
We are going
Anyone?
in sequence, right, with John?
All right, Jonathan, why?
Why do I want to be an actor? I think I didn't start off with wanting to be an actor. I started in my career wanting to be an action actor. Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to be like, cannot point again. Very hard to point. But I want to be like him.
Donnie
At the start of my,
Yen.
how to point until so nice one. Oh, yeah, let me try. Oh, it's here. Yeah, it's here. Yeah. So I started in my career wanting to be an action actor. I wanted to be known for my fights, and stuff like that. But I will honestly admit that my real love for acting, it's not like, I don't know about Kris and Agnes, but mine was developed over time, because action was only my narrative, it's my world. The only vocab that I watch, right, is only action movies. And I realized that you know what, to me, I just want to do fights on screen. I think it's very cool, blah blah blah. So that was how I started. But subsequently, after being in this for a while, as an actor, I get to do indie films, other web series, Mediacorp, TV drama series and stuff. So it will kind of develop this. Hey, actually, as much as an good action star can be, acting also needs to be there. And then I kind of developed this love for acting as well as I go. So I would say my answer is really not I flat out say why do I love acting. I would say for me, why I love action, it's really it's just, I don't know, I think it's just this creative thing in me that I like to perform and self-express myself. And I feel that to be able to be part of the film, be an actor, taking on a character, being in the film world, right, it's a very liberating kind of feeling. It's there's this sense of, I can't really explain. It's not really accomplishment, you do a work that you feel
Yeah.
kind of.
You're having a thunderstorm?
Whoa, after what I say,
Yeah.
the thunderstorm. Yeah,
it's
so
cool.
ooh, so ooh, John, like ooh. But yeah, so to keep it short, is really it's just this very creative like sense of like you feel good that hey, you know, like there's this something that is beyond the growth of a normal like myself. It's not a typical like hey, I just did this maths question, I feel very good. I mean, this one is it stretches way beyond. So that's for me what I like. Yeah.
Kris?
Oh, why why I like acting? I mean, it's a combination of reasons. Number one, I just felt it was my calling. Honestly, the thought of quitting acting has crossed my mind so many times, over the years. But something just keeps pulling me back. Every time there is a major downtime that's making me want to like think about not wanting to do this anymore, something would just miraculously happen. That it feels like almost a cosmic signal to me, like, hey, it's not time to leave yet. Like your job is not done yet. So I do feel that calling. Secondly, it's my fascination with human nature. Human nature is just so complex, and humans are just so unpredictable. You can have the most evil people, but maybe you can see them on the street, feeding a dog. Like they especially went to buy very nice food to feed a stray dog. But when you just see that one moment, you have no idea what kind of person he might be, maybe to his kids or to his friends. But this is human nature. And I just enjoy trying to understand people, listening to people, listening to stories. And I think, okay, this is the added benefit that I got from acting, right? Which I wasn't expecting at all. Within 5 years of being in the industry, I think I gained so much wisdom uh, because we are constantly dealing with all kinds of people and all kinds of stories. So you just understand human beings a lot more. It makes you a more empathetic person, and it just allows me to make better decisions in life, like exercise a more sound judgment on things. Plus, I think it's the gift that we need to share with the world.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, acting, like everyone's got their own gift, and I feel that if I can add value to people's lives by by bringing human beings to screen through my characters, that keeps me highly invested in this. That's why.
Interesting answer, very philosophical. And Agnes?
I think both John and Chris give like wonderful answers, and to a large
Mm.
extent, I also relate to them. But for myself, I think I started off from a place where I'm really very empowered and inspired by the films I watch. In many
Mm.
times in our everyday lives, there'll be moments that we feel like shit, things don't go our way. And there comes along this film that happens to be at that point in your life where you kind of need that story, you resonate with someone inside that story. And after that film, you go like, wow, I think I have the courage and I'm ready again, to face my battles. So there's so many times in my life that I just happened to came across the right film. I happened to hear the message that I needed to hear at that point in time. And looking back, it just feels like films have played such a big part in molding me and giving me strength and inspiring me. And I arrived at a point where I hope to be that person in that story who could give that strength that people need when watching that film. And it doesn't necessarily only mean inspiring stories. It could be family stories, the slice of
Mm, mm,
everyday life,
mm,
just resonate with people at a certain time in their life.
mm,
And that to me is very powerful and just give me so much meaning and purpose in what I
mm,
do.
mm,
And
mm,
and because like Chris said, right, I think it's actually ultimately about life. You are playing people. As you play along, you think about who you were before this film. You think about the people that you have met in your life, the people are already in your life, and you learn from them, you observe them, and you channel all that into the stories to tell. And ultimately, being a good actor or actress is about experiencing life to the fullest. Because only when you have a very holistic life, you can bring
yeah,
like, the emotions and
interesting. Yes,
ingredients to
yes.
your stories, right? So
Yeah.
people like the greatest acting coaches always say like, acting is doing. And I think acting is living. Acting is living
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why we all love acting so much. Eventually, or maybe we develop a stronger love over time, is because we love life.
I really appreciate the answer.
Wow.
And wow, very deep. I got lots to think about. In fact, when I started doing this, I was invited for a few interviews opportunities, and some of them were actually well-known celebrities. So prior to me starting all this blog, and then the idea, of course, it's not so much now in social media where the actors or the celebrities themselves can project their image according to what they want, and speak out. Maybe they are um, uh, against cruelty to animals or whatever, just an example. But previously, when there was this distance between celebrities and fans, there was this secret space, and people tend to, or journalists, or maybe more people in the serious kind of jobs, will tend to equate being celebrities as pretty floozies. You get what I mean? Like they're just look very good, but they're not really smart people. When I start to interview some of these actors as well, and when you ask some questions, I think Jet would agree with me. If you choose the correct questions to ask, and you ask them a certain question, and they come up with such wonderful answers, you know, and I really appreciate some of these. I mean, I look at them very differently. Not that I thought that they were floozies, but I thought that they look at things in a different way. But actually, some of these actors are very, very smart and philosophical as well. As you say, they look at human nature. They think a lot about what ifs. When they are doing the acting and their roles, sometimes they think about what ifs. Very intriguing. Yeah. So I really enjoyed my short little snippets of times with some of these actors. They have a lot of things to say. Jet says yes, it's a lot of fun getting to do interviews and then getting genuine, thoughtful answers.
Yeah,
Hey, Jen.
I really love reading interviews. They're just so inspirational and enlightening.
Yeah. Jet has a question. He asks, the question I have for everyone is, what makes this worth it to you? As a Singaporean, I feel like anything I would like to try just isn't worth it in the end, and it feels futile. And I wanted to ask how everyone overcomes this. Valid question.
Wow.
You don't feel that way. Jonathan, have you any wise experience to share?
it's like a few questions in one large question, right? Hey, sorry, can you pop out that question again? I need to read the first part. Because it's like so many. I scared later I go off the thing.
Wait, hold on.
So which one you want me to? I said I
Hold
answered
on. Let me bring it out again. It's right up the top there.
Okay.
What makes it worthwhile
As,
to you as a Singaporean, especially when even people say that art is like at the lowest rank during COVID, right? Not important. And because he's saying that due to that, when you do something creative in Singapore, you sometimes feel as if it's so futile when you try, and you don't get anywhere.
okay.
And he asked, the second question is actually how you overcome this.
Okay. So like for myself, it's first thing first is I believe that both Kris and Agnes have amazing answers about their passion and which I'm passionate about. I think one thing about myself is I'm a very stubborn person. Okay, so I gotta thank that personality. So why I say stubborn? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I've been making films since I was 18. So I started in when I was in poly, right? Back then I'm someone that I like if I set my sight on something, like I want to do this thing, like back then when I was 18, I already said I wanted to be in this industry for the rest of my life. And without knowing much about this industry, I just know that like I feel so much liberation watching movies, just like much like how Agnes she felt empowering when she watched stuff, right? Like for me, I felt like very like inspired, like like an escape kind of point of thing when I watch like fight scenes and stuff. Like it's very like to see people be able to move that way. It's like wow, it's crazy. So for me, the stubborn part I was saying was that besides the passion to start, right, the stubbornness kept me going because as we all know, like what Jet said that being in Singapore, what you're handling is really people's asking you stuff like, hey, you earn enough money or not doing acting? You get all these kind of questions, right? Because of the Singapore paradigm we live in. But for me, it's more than that. I get people telling me like, bro, just don't do action films. No one is gonna watch it. Like Singapore, and especially at that point in time, I mean, compared to now, more and more local films are coming out, right? Like back then, in time in 2016, like our local films is really like
Very
no here,
arty
no
one.
sound.
Yeah.
Like
Arty
you
and
really
soft.
no here, no
Yeah.
sound, yeah, art house kind of thing.
Art
So
house
it's
films.
yeah, so it's in a way it's not commercialized. That's the word I'm gonna put it, right? So at that point in time, a lot of people told me, hey, no one's gonna watch an action film. Like people watching a Singaporean content is already rare already. Unless you are one of the top YouTubers out there, you know. But people watching a Singapore film is already super hard already. Like there are a lot more people telling me even harder for people to watch an action film because if they say if I'm gonna watch a Singapore action film, why not I watch a Hong Kong action film? I can watch like Japan, Korea. Why would I wanna watch your content? But because I was so stubborn, I was like, who say they will watch one day? So that mentality kept me going. Like this raging thing just kept me going. Like it's as though I'm fighting for something just to get people to like, hey, you know, Singapore, we can actually do it. So it's basically really passion coupled with my stubbornness. And then because of the passion coupled with stubbornness that made me persist, I saw hope eventually. And then that hope kind of one thing led to the other, and then it eventually made it like, I think this is gonna be worth it because like I want to follow my heart to do whatever I want. I don't want to like regret. You know, they always say that like regret is gonna be the most painful thing ever.
Yes.
Yeah, they say and honestly speaking, right, there was
It's
this one
better to fail than regret.
correct. And there's one thing that I told, I think one of the interviews I did back then in 2021, I said that I hate to do whatever I'm doing right now because it's giving me so much difficult time. Like I want to give up and all that. But I would hate the idea of regretting even more. Like I don't want to just get a 9 to 5 job and then like when I'm 50 years old, 60 years old, sitting in my old folks home and then thinking, why didn't I explore this life of mine?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Like so for me it's really that like for Kris himself there's something that pulls him back, right? Like for me the thing that pulled me back is always the yeah, it's hard, but are you sure you're not going to regret this for the rest of your life? Because and then you're talking about it's better to regret than fail. But the question I always tell people is why do you always see like because some people they always say, hey, at 35 maybe you know maybe you still cannot make it, just give up like you know in
That is
case
so negative.
yeah, exactly. So I was telling my these friends and families, I'm like, yeah, like instead of thinking like in a few years time I'll be nobody, why not you think I'll be somebody? Like what if at 35 I'm
exactly.
someone at certain level, like
Yeah.
you know, it is not being positive or for the sake of it, but it's like what like you're only thinking so one direction, like oh hey, what if you still are like that, like no one know you all that, but what if people know me? And then truth enough, the same few people, I'm not like some of these people like who once didn't believe in me, they're like, hey actually John, I think you should continue to do this, you know, I think Singapore then I was like, yeah, say who is talking? Because back then you were saying this is no hope. Yeah, so it's really so to answer Jet's question, to close it out for my answer, is really the stubbornness and passion that started. Passion started, then the stubbornness kept me going, and then the stubbornness kept me to persist, and then the persistence saw the hope, and then the hope eventually saw that this is actually all going to be worth it because I'm doing what I love. So that's my answer.
Yeah. Kris.
Hey, I'll do for John one of my gestures that he kept imitating. Much love.
I'll do this.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, what makes it worthy for me, worthwhile for me? Sorry, it's just my answer is very simple. It's just the pure excitement. Every time I encounter the prospect of playing a character, I'm thinking about what's interesting about this person that I can, find or create or develop. Just that idea makes me excited. So if you follow in the direction of your excitement and you find yourself being excited, for so many years about the same thing, and you figure out that, wow, whatever you know is just a drop in the ocean because acting is basically a different representation of human nature, right? And it's this some people call it the most personal art form because you are using your appearance, your voice, your psyche, your emotions,
Your experiences.
your experiences, and the more holistic life you live, the more wholesome of an actor you tend to become. So
Wow,
that
thunderstorm again.
wow, damn. Okay, we need to transcribe that and put it as a quote anyway.
Yeah, that is not a foley. That's a real thunder.
That's affirmation.
Yeah. So just the ability to do that time and again just fills me with so much gratitude that I keep wanting to do more and more of it. And also, it's about the process of winning. We spoke about regret, a number of times on this show already. Um, Tim Grover, one of my favorite authors and speakers, he says this: if you think the price of winning is too high, wait until you get the bill for regret. And that's something that drives me every day. I would rather try and fail than to be wondering what if, well, what would have happened. I don't want all these questions. And what is success anyway for acting, and what is failure anyway? Because for different people the definition is also different, right? Some just want to be famous, some just want to. And there's a lot of people in some other countries who went into acting just because they wanted to support, their families, and they felt that there was a lot of income in acting. And I mean, happy for them if they were able to find a sustainable money-making avenue in acting. That's great. But as for the Singaporean side of thing that Jet asked, from the very beginning, when I was in when the passion first hit me when I was in poly. Okay, I'm talking about like 2004, 2005, that kind of
You
time
trying to
period.
tell us your age, is it?
No, no, no. When it when it hit me around that time, I never thought about it in the Singaporean context. I always saw myself as a global citizen. Regardless of where I'm planted, I was already hoping to bloom where I'm planted. So I thought of acting in that whole international scope, and my inspirations were always actors way outside of Singapore. So I saw it like um, acting as this amazing sphere that I'm just a part of. It doesn't matter where I am. It's like that was my thinking, and until now I still have the same kind of thinking. Of course, placing me in Singapore gives it like a geographical significance, but I watch acting from all over the world, even in languages that I don't understand, because I'm constantly trying to incorporate a global influence into my acting. It's a growth journey for me. I enjoy growing. It makes me a better human being.
Thank you, Kris, for sharing. And Agnes.
I think I can like do a summary for what we say, but I think we can definitely agree. It's always better to regret the things you did than the things you didn't. That thought of, I feel like a good judge is always like, let's say this is the last day you have on earth. What are those things that you wish you have done but you didn't?
Yeah.
And with that end in mind, right, it will always give us the courage to keep doing what we are doing now, even though it's difficult. Because it's true, in Singapore it's so hard. And the fact is, it took me 4 years to even embark on acting. Previously, I also had a 9 to 5 job. I have no choice but to think about practical reasons. And finally, that calling inside you was so strong that you couldn't ignore. Everything you did, you just feel a bit empty because you're not doing what you love the most.
Yeah.
And if you know you truly want it, you just have to give yourself a chance to try. You have no idea where you can hit, but you just have to keep going and see, along the way you get some encouragement, you get a little bit of results maybe, and that's kind of like an encouragement for you to keep going. And John kind of say, acting is a marathon. And if I can add on that, acting just seems like a marathon with no finishing line and you have no idea where you can end up. You just have to keep running. Along the way, you appreciate the scenery, the people that you meet, you become a better runner and just keep running. And you just have to decide for yourself when you want to stop. If let's say you can't see the finishing line, or just keep continue running even though it's difficult. So for me, it's definitely a constant battle. There will definitely be days where I'm sure a lot of actors can agree. Like there are days where you feel like you're not good enough, you keep getting rejection. are you good enough to continue doing this route? And you just have to take a step back and ask yourself, how much are you willing to believe in yourself and keep working on it? And of course, I think there are enough anecdotes and proof around us socially to say that, you can dream big, you can afford to dream big. And you just have to keep working hard and push yourself towards that goal you have in mind. Maybe you won't be able to achieve that end goal at the end of the day, but you might be closer to that the day before. You just keep getting closer and closer, and then you look back, you feel like, oh, like even though I wish I did accomplish my bigger goal, hopefully, but even if I don't, I can look back on my life journey and say, I've lived a life well lived because I did whatever I could. I tried my best to pursue what I love. I've done my life justice.
Mm.
I've led a meaningful and a purposeful life.
Yeah. I always, for personally, I agree. The last day on earth, like what kind of regret, or rather, not just so dire lah. Maybe when you're old and you are not able to be so mobile, right? Or you have to be at home most of the time, and you'll be just stuck with your thoughts actually, right? And memories.
Yeah. Actually, if I may add on something very
Yeah.
short and quick to end off, right? This question is basically like, whenever people ask me, right, like, hey, how do you know, like what Kris and Agnes said, right? They always say, hey, how do you know when will you be successful? Which obviously Kris said, definition of success and fate and whatever is different for people. I always give this answer from V for Vendetta, this movie. If you guys know, I always say, there's no certainty, only opportunity. And then whenever, like, whatever actually we talk about, like we say, what Jess question about worth it or not, right? Actually, because we are so clogged up in this Singapore paradigm, it's actually always about the money thing. Are you earning enough? Are
Yeah,
you this and that?
agree.
It's always
Yeah.
the, hey, you sure you can
Practical.
survive or not? Yeah, it's a very practical kind of thing. And then we are worrying about all this kind of stuff. Like we are contemplating our passion or what we want to do in life and our heart, and etc. With what we want to do, which is why there's this Charlie Chaplin. He has this saying which I love. He said, "Life close up is a tragedy, but zoomed out is a comedy." So at the end of the day, right, actually all our life, right, it's we sometimes we think too much about some things, but just go with our heart, just do what we want to do, and then it will all work out at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yes.
Damn, John dropping the quotes.
No, you guys never heard of this saying before? It's damn true.
I heard.
Like
I
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, we are actually running 7 minutes.
Oh, so
3
long.
3 p.m. an hour, and I feel like we will keep going
Overruns.
because some people
Overruns are
have
common in
setting as
filming.
well,
Overruns
and
are common in filming.
I think you guys are finding some of these discussions quite interesting and insightful. So we will continue for about 10-15 minutes, I guess. And
Right.
Yes.
I don't want to make you, everyone, even those watching in, feel as if this is such a drag. But I get a sense that there are a lot of interesting sharing of feelings and information from both sides. So I'm going to continue with the session for a bit longer. And
No, we'll
we
just
also
change
have
our
someone
outfits
from
and come back,
Canada.
so it won't be
Hello,
the same.
Oh,
everybody.
Canada.
Happy Saturday.
Hi.
Wow.
1 a.m. Well, thanks.
Wow.
Welcome.
Staying up.
Glad you're joining
Thank
us
you
at such an
for-
early hour. And we have our famous GOAT. Hello, Perry.
Yeah. Like to my job.
Perry, we have been talking about you. Is that why you came on? Because you heard it from the other side.
He oil us.
All right, continuing the questions from the audience. Forever Happy Young Sings us. I would love to know if initially there is any fear in you before filming action scenes. Like if I were about to act, I would be scared that I will be injured accidentally. How did you all overcome if there is a fear? I guess.
Hey, can I
Yeah.
answer this?
Because I got no
Sure.
No.
Yeah.
In this film, okay, I'll give you the funny version first. So when John told me a long time ago when he was going to do an action film, right, and then he wanted me in the film, so I expressed some concern to him because I had never done action at that point and I didn't think I was capable of doing it. So I asked him, is there any martial arts for me to do in this film? Then the answer he gave me was like, we only need the martial arts on your face. That's why I'm hiring you. Like. So something like that. Like it was a very funny answer. But then the serious answer for that question was even though I didn't have action in BV, I did action in another production, and I ended up in hospital actually because of
Oh my God.
heat. Yeah, because of heat exhaustion, and there was a lot of people there. The so
I was
yes,
there.
ever since, yeah, he was there. So he was one of the people who helped me out because I almost fainted on an open patch of grass. It was an open field. Yeah. So the fear is definitely there. We just have to. I didn't think it was going to happen to me, right? Because I hadn't heard of such things. Also, I was just a little bit ignorant, and then boom, it happens to me, and I find myself in hospital. It took me a couple of weeks to sort of get used to this idea that, oh man, like doing an action scene can make you end up in hospital. So that fear does exist, not just for action, but just outdoor productions in general.
Agnes,
I think the
this is your
basis
first
of
action film, so I
yeah,
would like to hear what's your experience like.
but I wasn't scared. I was like super excited because I've been wanting to do it. But I totally get the fear part because I feel like it's a very natural human reflex whenever we get to an unknown zone, right? But I think what always helps is like trust. So it depends on ultimately how well you know the crew, how much you are willing to trust your co-actor and the people on set to help you. I think with that trust being formed, which explains why rapport and communication prior to set is so important. Assuming that's done, honestly, when you're in the moment on the set where you're learning and actually doing the real thing, you have no space for fear because all you're focused on is doing it well, making it like in a way perfecting it together with your team. So yeah, so to me it's very manageable because it just feels safe. I am assured, and because we have done enough rehearsals. So when it comes to shooting, I'm just like, okay, excited, let's do this. I want to see the outcome. So it's been very enjoyable.
Jonathan, you've done so many of these, so has the fear gone?
No, to be honest, right, like even though like you mentioned, I've been doing this for a while, I don't enter any fight scenes that I do. I don't enter with this like, oh, I do this for a long time. Nothing's gonna happen. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I always take it as everything is gonna be the first time. I'm not gonna be complacent about it. So like I believe the question is more specific about this film itself. I think the only fear like I always have is that um it's not because when we're looking at fear, generally, like what Kris and Agnes is talking about is not sort of fear of themselves, right? Would they get hit or something? But always all the time, right? For me, is that I'm not afraid to get hit. I'm afraid to hit the person. Like I'm afraid I hit too hard. Like it's more directing to the person, lah. Because for myself is that I tell the person, hey, you know what? You just kick me harder. So because you know how much I can take, I do this for a while. But it's always like I don't know how much can that person take. Like I'll be like, okay, is this too hard? Is this too soft? That kind of thing. So my feel will be more towards like general, like the welfare and the safety of everything, or especially the person I'm fighting with always, and whether the person is comfortable or not. Because at the end of the day, fighting might not be acting, but technically fighting is also acting. It's like a dance, it's like you have to coordinate this choreography with this person. Even for martial arts performance itself, like for myself, I do Chinese Kung Fu, right? Like if I had to do a martial art piece, like a stage piece choreography set with like maybe a sword and a spear, right? There will also be that fear that you are afraid that your something will hit the other person, right? So I think that's the fear, lah, if I had to answer that question.
We have someone from the UK as well, Colin Squire.
Woohoo! Colin! Colin was the one
Wow.
that did a podcast interview with me.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
Great. I like that people from not from
All
Singapore
around the world.
Yes, yeah. So Colin has a question. Was there any injuries from in filming the fight scenes? And congratulations to everyone involved. I suppose
Nope.
Jonathan has kept the set safe.
No. Yeah. Not actually, to be honest, like for myself, because I was action directing, the one that I really have to pick up to is my bro Hans. He's the one really checking the entire like safety, and then during the scene where like okay, so to trivia a bit, right? Like basically the scene, you guys watched the film already, hopefully by now. You all see the first scene is basically that this fight scene between me and Agnes, right? And So Agnes was initially the choreography was like Agnes was supposed to be slammed towards the van. And then Agnes was like initially saying, I don't think I need a padding for this lah, kind of thing. Then after that, my guy was like, no, what the hell? You need to have a padding for it. And because it's quite troublesome to be honest, the back brace.
Yeah.
So I really have to pick up for my guy. Like he enforces, like, you know, sometimes like for myself, I dive a bit. Sometimes these kind of paddings and stuff might get a little bit uncomfortable to wear. And some actors which we have experienced, like they don't prefer to wear it because it's uncomfortable, not because they don't want the safety.
Yeah.
And then it's a bit hard, especially if the actors is some big shot, then they will start to enforce like, no, I don't need this. And then sometimes my mentor will say, no, you have to enforce. Like, you know, it's our job, because if anything happens, they're gonna say, hey, who is the safety, who's the whatever.
Yeah.
So thanks to our mentor who is also on set, he always ensure like, hey, no, cannot, this one cannot, you need to have padding, if not, I will not do for you. So that constant thing really has, so because of that, there was no injuries on set, to answer Colin's question. Everything was very smooth. I mean,
Yes.
minor bruises here and there lah. So, but
Yeah.
that's,
They're still intact.
yeah.
There's Chazam who asks, what physical acting challenge would you like to bring into your next performance?
Okay, Kris Mavericko.
Maybe Kris
And
answer.
Agnes. Yeah, Kris answer, the legend. The GOAT.
Huh? Physical challenge.
No, because the past two questions is about action. So I think now it's your turn to answer.
Wow, physical acting challenge. Physical acting challenge. I honestly never thought about this though. Wow, physical. I don't know. It just, I mean, my process is always the same. I look for casting calls, I email or I WhatsApp, I apply and see what they expect from me, and then I just ask a couple of questions and see how we can work together. So if anybody wants me to do action, then of course I'm gonna ask questions about safety and whether I'm gonna come back home in one piece. And if they can assure me, then we'll see how it goes. Because anyway, in filmmaking, there's a lot of these tricks to make you look like you're actually doing something that you're not really doing. So
I kind of interpret Chazam's question more generically. Maybe he has some other directions to his questions, but I'm trying to put a little spin to his question. It would be more like a different style of acting that you would not usually normally do. Maybe like mocap or some Broadway musical, which is physical as well. Do you have any aspirations or ideas of the kind of different performance that you've never done before that you would maybe search for in the future? Is there any such aspirations? I am not saying that Chazam's asking that specific question. I'm putting a spin to his question.
I'm guessing my answer might be similar to Kris, but for myself, I would love to like explore as many different genres and different type of like acting possibilities as much as possible. Like action, musical, comedy, rom-com. Like to me, it's like just want to check every single genre because it's just so exciting to explore different kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
But let's see, zoom into the action part. I'm super excited and looking forward to doing like more fights. So I'm just trying to like expose myself to as many things as possible. So to me, like every challenge is like super exciting for us. It just makes our journey as actors like more colorful. But of course also more stressful. But I feel like it's a healthy kind of stress. So, yeah. Maybe
Jonathan,
Kris
any kind of other kinds of action that you want to do?
Other kinds of action.
This one is police and baddie, right? So any kind of other action genre, like the sub-genres. Yeah.
I think if there's like one more another action genre I want to try is kung fu lah. Like the 80s, that kind of kung fu film.
Okay, the Shaw
like
brothers.
Yeah, correct. That kind of very oldie kind of like, because that one is actually honestly more physical, way more physical. Because if you watch those 80s and 90s action like Hong Kong kung fu movies, right, the Bruce Lee era to the Jackie Chan, the Snake, that era, right, a lot of the stuff that they do is way more crazier because there's a lot more coordination. Like there's that opera kind of like rhythm to it, and I think that will be quite interesting. But then if I have to say an action piece, right? Like I know this is damn random, but like I always wanted to try like imagine a car, like a car, right? Then I'm hanging at the side of the car, outside of the car, right? Then the car just run. Then I just glide from the side. I always wanted to try this kind of thing where like I'm on a car and the car run. Then I see how the exciting thing. I think the action piece. I think that will be something that I want to try. Yeah.
Well, we can't wait for your next idea to, come to fruition.
Yeah. Because I've only been doing mainly fights.
So therefore, Billy Silver asks, will there be Bullet for Vengeance 2?
That will depend on if you guys are watching it and giving us a lot of love, then maybe you guys push for it to happen.
And if there's like a new me.
You never know. You never know.
You come back as a ghost.
Yeah. Cross genre, right? Hey, then the action horror. Idea.
But actually, to be honest, right, in all seriousness, like I don't think Kris knows about this. So I'm actually saying this for the first time also. Actually, a lot of my friends that have watched the films and their mutual friends have said that they wanted to know what is the partnership and the story between Amrish and
The
Yen.
backstory.
Yes, like how did they both started, and then how come like Amrish became a superior over his friend, and then what's the dynamic?
Wow.
So you never know if you guys
I
support the
never
film,
know.
then we can do a spin-off kind of thing. I'll be inspired to do a spin-off. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll come back to
At this point, there is something very important that needs to be said. Beyond the showing love, sharing all this, but I mean, for filmmaking, we really what we need most is the money. So
Yeah. Of course.
like if people if they just give us your love, give us your kindness, give us your friendship, like give us some money, man. Yeah, then maybe you can have like even other stories. Actually, John is also thinking of, I don't want to spoil, but there's this other RC. I'll just give the code initials RC. Yeah, then he was thinking about it. That was also an exciting idea. I don't know whether he wants to discuss about that.
Prequel time, before Vengeance.
If we so say pay now you later, Kris, get ready your phone.
Okay.
Turn on your notification.
Yeah, hey, Basil always pays on time though.
All right, so I'm going to slowly wrap up our session now. We don't want to hold people back for too long on a Saturday afternoon. And actually, Perry asked the questions that I usually ask towards the end. And he's like, what is next for all of you?
John can start the ball rolling.
So I'm gonna be filming my next action film project. That's one. Which I can't say what is it. Let's keep that a secret, okay? Second one is I'm not confirmed, but I think I'm gonna be part of this next like TV drama, MediaCorp drama. Yeah, that will be in like next month also actually, and then I'm hopefully, if all is well, I'm flying off to another country to be working with another director there, making on an action film. Which I'm not gonna say. Which I'm not gonna say what country is it. I'm just gonna say it's another country, and then hopefully all this will be shown like next year. Yeah, that's what's next for me.
And Kris?
Well, I don't have anything like super sensational lined up. I'm just doing a couple of survival acting jobs for the moment, and as usual, I just participate in the money making acting jobs like advertising, commercials, that kind of thing. Branding videos, corporate videos. Yeah, the kind of stuff that a lot of people don't even get to see. Only companies get to see. So for now, I'm just working on that. We'll see if something really big comes up, like acting wise, in terms of an exciting recurring role where you can really get to explore a character. I don't have anything else like that lined up right now. Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully you'll get something very interesting again.
Hopefully.
Agnes?
For me, similar to Kris, I don't have anything concrete, but I will be in a short film shoot next month. But the most part of the time is really the preparation phase, going for auditions, preparing yourself for the next opportunity. But I'm also trying to work on developing a script where I can submit to be produced into a short film. So hopefully, if it goes well, then yeah, I can then take a role beyond not only just as an actress but also as a writer and a producer. So I'm looking forward to that.
Fantastic.
Oh, sorry.
Just have a, yeah.
Sorry. Even though I wasn't able to say, even though I don't have anything like acting wise to talk about, right? I can just say what is releasing. So I'll have 3 short films that will be releasing, which I've already completed production
Yeah.
for
Ooh.
in the upcoming months. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
And of course, you'll be sharing that on your social media, so people will pick that up as well to watch.
Yes.
And Jet says, it's all good. Christopher Nolan made corporate videos too.
I know,
You
right?
gotta do something.
Oh, the last, before we go and before we kind of say goodbye to everyone, give us your 2-word pitch, 2 words.
2 words.
2 words for those who are not familiar with Bullet for Vengeance and haven't watched it yet. What are your 2 words pitch for this movie?
Wow.
2
Oh,
words only.
I know.
Test on my summary.
I know.
Yes, Chris.
2 words, right? Watch it.
That's
good.
Hey, what do you want me to say? Watch it.
Jonathan?
Okay, if I really had to say 2 words, is watch lah.
Oh my god!
What?
Compared to their answers who are not helpful, let me give a helpful summary.
Yes, please, Agnes.
Enemies, you reunite. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's the only useful response you get out of it.
Enemies reunite.
Reunite. Yes.
Okay. I think she can work at Hollywood soon already.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks for joining me on this live stream. Stay online, okay, while I say goodbye to everyone and tell them what's coming up next.
Thanks, everyone.
Hold on while I put myself on screen, and you all will come back and say goodbye again. Thanks for everyone watching in for the first live Diva session for 2023. I have no firm dates of when the episode 2 will be out, but I have some ideas of who to invite. Please look out my social media, Red.Diva on Facebook, Twitter, and mostly the announcement will come out on Facebook and Twitter. But if you have any ideas as to who are the interesting Southeast Asian creatives I could invite for my live stream as well, please drop the comments on Facebook and YouTube, and I'll pick them up. I'm really thankful that we are sitting together here for some insightful conversations. Please follow their social media platforms as well. I'm going to get that back on screen so that they can share where you can follow their artistic journeys. For me, I'm Red.Diva at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can follow what I've been posting about pop culture, lifestyle, entertainment, especially in Singapore. And I'm going to bring our guests all back again before we say goodbye together. Thanks, Jonathan, Kris, and Agnes. Before you go, do you want to let them know where they can follow you on social media so that they can keep up with your next projects? Jonathan? Yes.
Yeah, so hi everyone, thanks for watching the live stream. You can find me on Instagram at jcheong97, JCHEONG97. That's really where I put all my stuff. And of course, subscribe to Raging Fire Productions on YouTube, and also Raging Fire Productions on Instagram itself. Facebook, okay lah, I also use lah, but usually more Instagram. So jcheong97. Thank you.
And Kris?
Okay, before I talk about myself, I want to shout out Tina. Guys, Tina has been really sincere about doing this, and the more support you gather for her, the more kinds of interesting people she'll be able to bring, and the more of Singapore arts media and similar stuff she'll be able to support. So please tell your friends about Tina and help her grow her following. As for me,
thank you, Kris.
yeah. No, you deserve all the support you can get, really. So for me, it's actor underscore KrisMavericko. This for Instagram, and you can just look for Kris Mavericko on all the other platforms as well, like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. You should be able to find me.
Actor
And
underscore
Agnes,
Kris Mavericko, right? Oh, for me, it's on Instagram, Agnes Goh, AGNESQHSL, Agnes Goh SL. So I've typed all our handles in the please put comments. You're
yes.
welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so please follow all of us. We have interesting stuff coming up for 2023, if not, and 2023 and beyond. Thank you for your time, everyone. You can still continue to watch this live stream after it has ended, like a post live stream. It will still be on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And I'm not going to delete the video, so you can enjoy and go back and see what did Jonathan, Kris, and Agnes answer and share. And you can even share the link on to your other friends who are aspiring to be actors or entering into the film production world. So do just share what these local talented people are doing, in the film world in Singapore. It's a very rare rare thing. For many people do not know much about it. So thank you so much for your time. We'll see you once again. Bye.
Thank you,
Let's
Tina.
go. Let's